The battle of the future of OpenAI wages on in court in the US as two of the biggest names in tech go head-to-head. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, owner of social media platform X, and chief executive of electric car company Tesla, is taking on Sam Altman, the head of the world's best-known artificial intelligence company OpenAI. I'm joined by tech journalist, podcaster Kara Swisher. Great to have you with us. Thanks so much for coming in. Why don't we start on this battle that's unfolding in the US? I mean, I guess what it's reminding everyone of, slightly to state the obvious, is that OpenAI was a charity, is now for profit.
Yeah.
Is that going to be allowed to stand, or do you think this court case has a chance of overturning some of that?
No, I don't think so. I think most people think Elon's going to lose this one. I mean, because there's ample evidence that he didn't mind it shifting over to a different kind of organization. And also, he tried to take control of it, and he was rejected, and then he flounced off and signed the papers. Very much like when he bought Twitter and then said he didn't want it. There's a lot of proof that he knew what he was doing.
Does it reveal the sort of questionable motives of the people running OpenAI, or at least how they changed their motives, or is seeking profit absolutely fine?
They changed their motives, but Elon was in on it too. Like, to act like he's dumb now when he tells everyone how smart he is a little kind of hard. He seeks to control everything, and at that point, I was there when it started, and it was started because the power of Google and Meta, then Facebook, was so vast they were worried. Elon was too, about what would happen if AI was in the hands of just a small group of people. But you can't go off and then create another AI company, a for-profit one, and say that all you care about is the safety of humanity, because that's what he's doing at Grok, with questionable results given the non-consensual sexual content on there and essentially child pornography. So I'm not so sure we want to take our safety tips from Elon Musk.
In terms of safety tips, I'll come to AI in just a moment, but wanted to dwell on social media first.
Sure.
Obviously, as you know, Australia has banned social media for under 16s. It is looking increasingly likely that will happen now here in the UK, though we're not there yet. How does that sort of thing go down in the US, where obviously these companies are US companies we're talking about? Does it go down like a ton of bricks? Do people start to think it's okay?
Not the voters, no. Most people, it's a bipartisan feeling that the safety is out of control of these things, and we've had really bad experience with them. And I think it was, it was really, the US government has really abrogated its power here to these tech companies, and even more so during the Trump administration. It's not a new thing. But one of the things that's happening is there's a real big backlash against AI. There's a backlash against data centers. Obviously a backlash against phone use. And if you have to go to this extreme of banning it, that says something, that they weren't able to self-regulate because they aren't able to self-regulate. And there needs to be some guardrails in place for all of this.
What do you think the result of this is? I mean, obviously, some countries like ours banning it for under 16s, some civil cases that have been quite high profile in the US, though there'll be appeals to come. Do you think it will lead to significant self-regulation from the tech companies or not?
They haven't done it so far. Why would they? They do everything for shareholder value. I mean, the first line of my book many years ago, which everyone thought at the time was too mean, it turns out it's not mean enough, was it was capitalism after all. They're interested in shareholder value, and that's it. They do not have any interest in the community or anything else. And so we shouldn't force them to do it themselves, because they won't. They just won't. And so we have legislators who are elected by the people, and they should have stepped in, and they haven't done. I mean, there are no rules governing tech companies in the United States, zero. After all this time, no privacy rules, no algorithmic transparency rules. And so what's really interesting is that there's a real movement from the people who are sick and tired of this effect on their kids, the worries about AI, the lack of government accountability here. And so it's forcing people into more drastic solutions probably wouldn't have been had we had good guardrails in place.
One of the big issues, I think, with social media has been that they've never been held to account as publishers. It's been down to the individual
they call themselves
post.
platagers.
Exactly.
Right.
Will that be the same for AI? I mean, there's obviously a couple of very important cases coming. Do you think ultimately they will be classed as publishers?
I think it's a new thing, and things change as technologies change. They are not under Section 230, which protected social media companies unnecessarily at this point. And so these lawsuits are really important. If we have to sue them, we have to sue them. And they're losing. They're losing every time they get sued. They just have unlimited funds in order to fight these poor parents. Or, I've spent a lot of time talking to parents of kids who've committed suicide, and they're absolutely responsible, these companies, for the shoddy products they put out to the public.
And some of those cases obviously are getting much more coverage and cutting through, as we discussed as well with social media as well for under 16s. Step back and broadly talk about how people are embracing AI or not, because you have quite an interesting view on this. Yes, it's not that popular.
No, I both think it could be a real boon. Like electricity is great, except when it electrocutes you. And unfortunately, we've let the electrocutionists run the asylum, essentially. And so I think some of it's really interesting, but there hasn't been a thoughtful discussion about the strictures we should have, about job issues, and what are we going to do about that, and what responsibility do tech companies have. We've done it on planes, we've done it on cigarettes, we've done it on all nuclear weapons. Everything gets a big old think except for technology, because I don't know, are they the smartest people on the planet? I know they're the richest. And so they're trying very hard to act like they shouldn't be accountable the way every other business, this company, every company has responsibilities, and so do they.
In terms of where the market is, you've obviously covered many booms and busts and cycles of the like, and the word bubble gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
But as we sit here right now, tech stocks as a whole, AI stocks, are we much closer to the top than the bottom? Are we in a bubble? What do you think?
It's kind of a bubble the way the internet was a bubble. Like there was a lot of companies, and then there weren't, but Google, but Meta, but you know what I mean? There'll be one or two that really dominate. In this case, the one that's really coming up the middle is Anthropic, which is focused on the enterprise. They're also making a brand of responsibility, right? They're the only ones talking about safety. And so you can see them being like the Apple of this era, right? While the others are more shabby in a lot of ways. And so, yes, there's not going to be as many, and they'll probably be bought up. There's rumors of Apple buying Perplexity. This money can't be spent, but that happened in the early internet, and you wanted to bet on a few of them.
You're here in London because you're speaking at the Truth Teller Summit.
I am.
Later today. We had Tina Brown join us yesterday morning. Absolutely terrific, I agree. And I guess on the topic of truth telling, do you feel that America's business leaders that you and I have covered closely for years, are they speaking truth to power right now?
No, not at all. They're giving
How
in.
bad has it got?
Well, Trump shakes them down. Like everyone sort of blames Trump, who's really terrible in this thing, but they give in. And so at some point, we all know who Trump is, right? We get him pretty clearly in the United States at this point, as you notice, plummeting levels of polls. But they have been really irresponsible in pushing back at this administration. And I know he can do them damage, but at the same time, at some point, enough is enough with this guy. And so paying these payments out, trying to get stuff through, deals they want to do. It's kind of venal in a lot of ways. And at some point, there's going to be a reckoning of what these companies have done. But corporate media has not pushed back at all. And that's why independent media has thrived. I mean, it's interesting because, like, I have one of the top 10 podcasts in the world. Like, I'm by myself, like that kind of stuff. And so there's all kinds of, Tina herself is entrepreneurial. And one of the things that she wrote today was, as we move into the age of AI, you can't automate trust, and you can't automate an audience who really trusts human beings. And ultimately, you can use the AI tools or any technology tools, but it ultimately rests with people doing incredible reporting, like Julie K. Brown with Epstein. There's so many examples of that. And I think these corporate companies, these corporate leaders need to, toughen up a little bit.
Kara, it's great to see you as always. Thanks so much for stopping by, and enjoy the Truth Teller Summit, as I'm sure you will. Thanks so much, Kara Swisher.